Bret the Hitman Hart. You know, this past summer was the summer of the Hitman, right after Hulk Hogan kicks the bucket, and Bret Hart just burying everybody beneath the earth as he does. Typical Canadian, you stinking hyena. And you wonder, does Bret Hart actually take a break from being bitter? Well, if he does, it's only shortly. Oh, it's only shortly. Excuse any echoes. I'm in a certain situation right about now, but I got to bring you this content. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to this channel. Let me try and move over here a bit. Let me see here. Now, Bret Hart, like I said, you wonder, everything he does is just tearing and cutting and bitter, and everyone was wrong except him, and he kept getting screwed and screwed. You'd think he'd wear a condom or get a police officer or a dog. He keeps getting screwed by people. But no, Bret the Hitman Hart, he goes on and on about everybody. From Goldberg to Vince to Hogan. But finally, Bret Hart takes a breather for about 12 seconds because I got to get back to him burying, because there's a brand new Bret Hart interview. And he actually praises people. And then goes back to burying. It's amazing. It's amazing. Did I say hit the like button yet? Share this video. Did I say that yet? But before we get to the burials, I'll save that for a couple. I'm going to eat off his card because I got to chop this interview down. Bret Hart, for once, he actually praises people. But then he has to go right back to getting his shovel. You think Triple H, a lot of you people in the comments, you think Triple H had the biggest golden shovel? No. Mr. Hitman, I'm on the crack. And he's cracking his shovel over everybody's head. Oh, Bret Hart is doing run-ins like New Jack in 2000. This article says Bret Hart is giving major credit to Mr. Perfect and Roddy Piper for helping elevate him in his early singles career, while noting that Hulk Hogan never did that for anyone else, which is just a ridiculous statement. I've already been through this. Check on the channel. Just go on the channel and just type in Bret Hart and look up the interview. Look up the video where it's titled Bret Hart Buries Hogan After His Death. Go watch that whole interview. This illogical, just lunatic rambling about nothing that's correct. But let's get to the positive. Bret Hart reflected on his rise as a solo star in the World Wrestling Federation in the early 1990s, explaining how both Mr. Perfect and Roddy Piper worked hard to make him look like a star. But then Hart argues that Hogan and Triple H didn't put others over in the same way. He's complimenting other people just to bury others. For no reason. And then he goes on a rant about how Hogan hurt the roster when he left the company. Oh my God. Bret Hart is just stuck in 92. Bret Hart, on his early career when he first became a singles wrestler, he says, eventually, when I was tagged up with Neidhart, we became tag champions the second time and had a nice run as champions. Vince McMahon came back to me and said, we're going to put you in singles matches again. We're going to give you a big singles push, the real big singles push. And I was kind of like, I'm skeptical that they would do all that for me, because there's always politics and backstabbing. Anyway, so I got turned to a good guy with Mr. Perfect, and that was the start of my singles babyface push. On working with Piper and Mr. Perfect, Bret Hart says, everything for me started with the wrestlers that loved working with me. Here's that ego again. Oh, everybody hates Hogan and hates Triple H and Goldberg, but, they love working with me, hyena. I never hurt anybody. Everybody loved working with me. Duke the Dumpster Droese, he had his first child with me. What? If you know, you know. Mr. Perfect and Roddy Piper loved working with me, according to Bret Hart. And certain guys wanted to help me and prove to the office and the promotion that I could be a big star. And and he says, and I owe a lot to Mr. Perfect. He was the first guy to really go in there and just show everybody how good I was. My God, the ego of Bret Hart. Mr. Perfect, he didn't care about making his money. Mr. Perfect didn't care about getting over. He wanted to show how good I was. Oh my God. The arrogance of these Canadians. Did somebody say Chris Jericho? Oh, Bret Hart. Much like Pat Patterson, Bret Hart is going banana on his own banana. Janelle Grant was going on that banana too. Paige was on a tape doing. Paige had a chocolate banana. Paige had a chocolate banana, or one of those bananas that goes bad and turns black. Whatever. Shout out to Woods. Pause. Mr. Perfect wanted to show everybody how good I was. Wow. Thank you, Bret Hart. And Curt he was one of my favorite guys to ever wrestle. He was the first guy to step up and make me. And then Roddy Piper was probably second. Now, in the past, Bret loves to mention how Piper put him over, but he's talking about the WrestleMania 8 match in Indianapolis. I always thought Piper did not want to really make him look good because it wasn't a clean finish. Like, when Bret beats Piper at WrestleMania 8, it's not a clean finish. It's like a double shoulder finish, and then Piper gets up like he's not hurt and then gives him the belt. That's not putting someone over. When you put someone over, you lose 1, 2, 3 clean. Not a double pin, not a run-in, not the referee was down. No, when you put someone over, it's clean. Roddy Piper, I have a video on this channel how Roddy Piper is the most miserable man in wrestling history, which has now been replaced by Bret Hart. And in that video, I detailed how Roddy Piper was impossible to work with. He never wanted to job. He never wanted to sell. He would bury young talent on TV. Shout out to Buff Bagwell. So I don't know why Bret Hart has this like romantic thing of Piper wanted to help him. If Piper wanted to help him, why didn't he lose clean in the middle at WrestleMania 8? Exactly. Now, I'm going to save this for the next couple videos. So he praises Mr. Perfect and says Mr. Perfect knew how great I was, and they wanted to show how good I was, so he blows himself. Speaking of blowing, Honky Tonk always said Mr. Perfect blew his heart out by blowing all the coke. That's his quote, whatever. But Honky Tonk's still here, and he still got them sideburns, so whatever. But what are your thoughts on Bret Hart? Do you think that do you see the arrogance? Mr. Perfect knew how good I was, and he wanted to show how good I was. Yeah, I guess Perfect didn't care about getting over himself. I guess he was just a jobber to Bret Hart. I guess he was just a jobber. Yeah, he got his back blew out like Janelle Grant later on. Yeah. I guess everyone just knew how great Bret was in '92. He was so great that when he was a champion, that's when the ratings fell in '92 and '93 and '94 and '95. But he was so great. Bret Hart was so great, he couldn't draw. Now, Bret became a draw. Bret was a draw overseas. And I got to make that clear. Bret Hart was not a draw in America until about '97. But he was always a big draw in Germany, in Canada. He was a draw. He just wasn't a draw in America until '97. Be clear on that. He was huge in other countries when they did those European tours. That's a fact. But in America, he was not until '97 when he turned heel. But Bret Hart claimed, this is the problem with wrestlers like Bret Hart. They think wrestling is just about like moves and moves and moves. Like, no, Bret Hart never learned to talk until '97. That's when he became a draw in America. So like when you have these wrestlers who are like, I'm so great, then how come you weren't drawing? How come when you were the champion, the ratings were the lowest they'd been in years? Now, to be fair, because I am fair, you are coming out of the monstrous Hogan era, so it's hard to sustain that. But still, the company's lowest period is when Bret, Shawn, and Diesel were the top 3. That's a fact. What are your thoughts on Bret Hart's comments? This interview is long as hell. That's why I'm chopping it up like Vlad TV in a million parts. This is the first part. But what are your thoughts on Bret? When they pushed Bret in '92, do you think it would have been better to push Mr. Perfect in that position? I would have. This is something, I think I had a poll on this, and when they pushed Bret in '92, to me, why not just push Undertaker? Like, there were like years where Undertaker never got a real like main event push. They had him fighting King Kong Bundy and all this trash. In '92, they should have made Undertaker the world champion. Have him be the champion for like 4 years. No. Let's give it to Bret and Diesel. With that said, I'm up out of here. Hit the like button, share this video, subscribe to this channel if you want to support the channel. If you have a video request on a certain topic, past, present, future, Jesus Christ, past, present, or future, you can donate to the Cash App. It's $XDN online. I'm up out of here. The Hitman strikes again, and just wait. There's going to be about 3, 4, 5 videos out of this long interview, because he goes from praising 2 dead men to burying other dead men. And maybe Bret Hart is the real Undertaker. That is it.